Hello, and welcome to another episode of C-Suite, the CEO Chat. Yes, I'm excited. Yes, I'm your host, Shawanna Kennedy, and this is the place that we talk all things good, bad, and ugly of what it looks and feel like to be a CEO. I've been on this journey for almost a couple of decades now, and what I found is that having conversations with people that are like-minded, that doing different things, it really does help us. Iron sharpens iron. And today, we have a young lady on here who is robust. She's rich with value. She's rich with vision and understanding of what that looks like. This young lady has over 30 years as a visionary. She's an entrepreneur who went from being a model and turned it into a business. This young lady also then flipped that baby. She made it a production company. She gets to do all things all over the place. She's on everybody's platform, helping entrepreneurs, empowering women all over the globe. So I'm excited to bring my special guest, none other than Dr. Kim McNair, to the platform. Won't you welcome back? You was laying it down. We had the opportunity to hear a little bit about how you went all the way back to age 14 and your experience when you started out just coming across the street and modeling for your nannians, and then what that turned into and what that looked like. But we also took a peek into what it looks like for you to operate part of your nonprofit and what you get to do with young ladies and helping them with life skills and getting them ready for entrepreneurship and just life in general. Yes. I want to know, because you being in production, you being in marketing, you understanding sales and all of the things, because being able to have this conversation, I'm going to have to ask you too, right out the jump, how important is media as it relates to, because one of the things that I promote with Kennedy Media is understanding the importance of visibility and video visibility. What does that look like for you? Help the people understand the importance of not only video, not only visibility, but even video visibility.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's very important. You know, it's all about storytelling now. People want to hear your story. They want to hear a backstory. They want to lean in and hear that, because we get all the fluff all the time. But, you know, if you can kind of talk with people and create things through a video, you know, if it's a tutorial situation or, you know, you're just wanting to really get in there and just kind of give some nuts and bolts, it does a lot. It does a lot. Doing videos is really popular right now. You know, I probably don't do as much as I should, but I do some only because I grew up in front of the camera for so long. So a lot of times, you know, I may put together a little picture reel here and there, but believe you me, I'm behind the scenes, really kind of working on perfecting the craft. That's important. I tell people, take time to perfect your craft. You may not have the dollars and cents to do this big media school. You know, we got the YouTube University, as they say. You can get out here and teach yourself and learn some things and develop what you need, and then practice. Practice makes purpose. Put your camera on, do some things, and then go play it back. And then you'll see, okay, maybe I need to do this. I do it this way. Okay, let me change up. You know, we're always talking about we're going to have the phone horizontal. We're going to have it vertical. You got to look at what works best for what it is you're doing, right? But video is definitely important. You want to make sure you're diving in and you're doing your research and perfecting your craft. I always say perfect your craft, because that's important no matter what age. I'm trying to do things. I'll do a session here. I'll watch this and different things. When I got ready to get into pushing women in leadership, I said, okay, I need to go. I want to get the best training. I need the best. What did I do? I signed up. I got involved, and I got a class with Harvard Business School. I said, okay, oh, how much? Okay. So I said, well, okay. I talked to my sister. I said, well, sis, you know, I need to do this. She said, well, I'm gonna help you out. And that's when your community comes together. You know, and I have to give my sister a lot of credit. She said, okay, sis, how much? I got this. You got that? Make it happen. And make sure you do what you're going to do with it. And that's what I do. I said, I got you. So, you know, to be able to go teach and talk to women and young girls about women in leadership, I had to go and perfect my craft. When I'm talking about entrepreneurship, yes, I did the Cornell University session, you know, class on women entrepreneurship, because you want to get that within you. And some people want to know, you know, that you know what you're talking about. Now that you know, you got some training, you got some certification or something.
Yeah, part of what you're saying, which is so true, because I say, and what I get to do in the, the business side of what I get to do is, is even if you can't, and like you said, there are definitely a lot of tools out there, but then because of the different people that we oftentimes get to be in the midst of, you said it before, sometimes it's not even about the people that don't have the funds. It's then the people that still need to know that it's okay to allow somebody else to do it and to make that investment. Like you said, your sister helped you and made an investment in you. And that people have to be okay. We're talking to business owners. We're talking to entrepreneurs or potential ones that are looking and listening. You have to be okay to make the investment in yourself. Because I say it all too often, and we've heard it, because if people don't know you, they don't know you. And I say, it's not just a fad. It's not just a trend. I say all the time, we hear music on the radio, but for people who love certain type of music, there's nothing like seeing the artist face to face.
Yes. Oh, so, gosh, I love live shows. Oh, yes.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but see, there's a difference too. Like you'll listen to them all day long, but there's nothing like, we talked about it earlier, about an experience.
Oh, that is.
To a concert and see the person who has been, hey, for some of us, people have babies after listening to that certain kind of music.
Oh, guys, Babyface and all them other ones. And look, October London, I don't know what he's doing these days. But yes, you do. And one thing that I'm really, pushing now for our entrepreneurs, our women in leadership, and those who are in business is, you got to know your power. So, with me, I know my power. I know my purpose. I know my potential. You know what I'm saying? I know my path. And that's one thing you want to dive in on. You want to have, and I call it the KMP mindset, knowing my power, knowing my path, knowing my, that KMP, knowledge, money, and power, that KMP mindset, and a lot of at the top of the year, I was I kept talking about that millionaire mindset, but what I was meaning in all of that is just that you want to have a mindset that's here. You want to elevate your mindset. That means in doing so, you're going to make sure that you're diving in and you're doing the reading. You're taking time to meditate and get with him. All right. And get into the space you need to get into each and every day. Just take a few minutes. I'm telling you, it will change your life. Okay. Yeah. So that you can get all the nutrients and all the food that you need. Everybody's talking about, I was watching Good Morning America, and the girl said, Angel Reese said the girl ate, and they were like, what does she mean by that? Because she was posing at the draft and she had on this nice dress, and I said, well, right now it's talking about, you got to eat, right? So everybody's trying to eat. So, or as Glorilla saying, let it cook, right? So you got to let it cook, and then you got to eat, all right? And then when you finish, you done ate it, and you like, bam! So that's a good thing. And the young folks, they got to keep you going.
No, see, if y'all ain't heard it, you can definitely tell that she be tuned in and leaned in to what the young people are saying.
Oh yeah. You gotta be able to relate, right. So you got to.
I'm gonna do like this, as they say. Then, yeah. This one of the things that they do when you didn't ate or you just did a thing. Like, yeah. So those are some things. So we gotta get, we gotta get in there, and we gotta hone into what we're doing and take time to develop ourselves and let it cook. That means let it die, get all in, right? So that when you speak or when you have to go ahead and make that decision, you got to make that pivot. Pivot is big right now. We pivoted with the pandemic, but for business people right now, and I'll say men and women, those who are losing their jobs, getting laid off, everybody's in the pivot mode. I'm doing the power of the pivot at the end of the month. We got to pivot, and we got to figure out how we're going to pivot, and we got to keep pivoting. Just like in sports, you got to pivot. You got to pivot. You need to make sure that you have a few things lined up. See, everybody had a little side hustle, but everybody going to have all kind of hustle now, because again, we got to create those opportunities. We got to create the atmosphere. We got to create these experiences so that we can continue to thrive and we can continue to grow in business and doing the things we need to do. And again, I've been talking about collaborate, connect, and creating for years, because in my business, I collaborate. I collaborate with my vendors. Yeah.
I have to collaborate with AD. I got to collaborate.
I need to know why you're talking about vendors, because of the relationships, right? Relationships is big. Relationships is key. Relationship is big. God. Relationship is key. I'm not stuck. Relationships is big. Relationships are key. I'm not stuck. Relationships are big. Relationships are key. When you think about that marketing aspect and you think about that sales component, can you help a business owner, an entrepreneur. And when you think about not only helping the people, it's even thinking about some of the mistakes so that they won't make some of those mistakes and they can do some things even different starting out so that they don't get so far in and they like, I wish I knew. How many times have we said that? Boy, I wish I knew that a few years ago.
Oh, yes.
So let's talk about that marketing and that sales piece for a moment, if you don't mind.
Well, oh yeah. So when we're talking about relationships, okay, so we're going into something and you gotta kind of shift and take that taker's mindset. You gotta get rid of that taker's thing. You gotta figure out what you're gonna offer, what you're gonna bring to the table, right? And when you are building those relationships and you're in those certain rooms and you're in those spaces, okay, for one, I'm not going to anything that if I go to a networking event or something, right, I'm already knowing who's going to be in this room, okay, because I gotta market this room, right? So I got to know who's in this room. All right, I'd had enough meatballs and alcohol. I ain't doing that. I'm done with that. I'm going strategically right now. So I got to be strategic about who's in this room and who I'm going to meet or what's going to happen in here. And was it meaningful? And is it someone that I can do business with? Somebody I can do business for? Is it someone in here that I can connect with and start to build that relationship? A lot of relationships I have, it developed over time. It just didn't jump in. I had to cultivate that. I had to say, hey, you know what? I have seats at I have this event. I would love to invite you to come. You got to get them, have them come, have a table set where that table right there is strictly for the people I need to be in the room if you're doing something. Or again, if you're building this relationship, sometimes you gotta, we just said, invest in yourself. You might have to buy that ticket just to go in there and be in that space. Maybe you need to volunteer. Oh my gosh, let me tell you, before I got the position of doing the marketing and PR for the ball, the biggest event of the year, the UNCF Mayor's Mass Ball. Do you know I volunteered when Kasim was the mayor? I volunteered when Keisha was mayor. And look what that got me today. Being in the right spaces, in the right places, people seeing your face, so don't not volunteer. Volunteering is good because you have to sow those seeds because it will yield you something later. So you got to plant those seeds. So again, as you are doing your sales and your marketing, make sure that you're getting into the right rooms, you're marketing to the right people, know who your target audience is. Okay. Make sure you have your key, your key indicators, your price points, all the things that you're doing, depending on what it is that you're selling, all right? And try to make sure that you're strategic in how you are moving. Okay, move with intention. You got to have a strategy. You got to have the right execution. And then you kind of build and go from there. Now, it may not be a sale today, but you don't know what it's going to yield tomorrow. But and a lot of people I get calls for different things. And it's just how you just have to take your time and strategically look how you're going to lay this thing out. You want to make sure that you're marketing and you're doing your sales in the proper way so that you can get that return, that ROI. We all want a return on our investment. So does the people that you're serving. They want a return on their investment as well. So if they're investing in you, they want to make sure that they're getting a proper return. They want to make sure they're dealing with somebody that's knowledgeable, that knows what they're doing, that can get the job done. Because people can talk a good game and they can't get nothing done. So you got to make sure that you don't overpromise. You don't want to underpromise, but you don't want to overpromise to where you can't deliver, because what that's going to do is that may hurt the next person, because you may have the opportunity to get in this space, the door open for you, and you're getting in there. Make sure that you can follow through and get it done and do it in excellence. Do it with excellence. Maybe, you know what, you can do this much, but I'm going to do this much. I'm going to give them 110%. And then you're in there and you're getting it. Now you may be able to create an opportunity for the next person. You know what? I know somebody that can do this. One thing I tell people, when you hire KMP event planning and marketing firm, you hire my production company to do your event. I am definitely going to say, hey, I have a preferred list of vendors. And if you like what would happen here, or you this or that, I'm going to use the people, and I'm going to open the door to get them in there. And using my preferred list, you not only will get a discount, you will not only just get, some breaks here or there, but you're also going to get an experience none other than you've had before. And that's what I strive on. You have many organizations and businesses that struggle with staying on budget, that struggle with creating that experience, right, for their people, effective, and that it's making a memorable experience for your clients and yourself, but also a legacy for what you're doing. Because you have a lot of people that do something, they do it every year. They're at this number, they're at that number, and you got to be creative on how you're going to do it different, how you're going to top last year, what you're going to do here. But what you don't want to do is here and fall way down here. No, you don't want to. You want to stay here and kind of keep creeping up. But now we got to be strategic on how funds are being done, are being spent. Look at what's going on. We know what's happening globally. So now we got to look at, all right, how are we going to strategically spend these funds? Because again, we need the funds to keep the business afloat. So I know my niche. Make sure you know yours, because I know mine. So you got to make sure you know your niche. Okay? You got to know your niche. So that's important. But again, you got to be able to sit down with your client and look at everything across the board and make sure, and you got to be able to go in and negotiate the best thing for them. And that comes in a relationship. That's another thing. You try to do too much too fast. You got to take time to plan it out. You want it to be right. Don't come with me and you want something next month. No. It's going to take time. For one, I got to learn your product, your brand, all right, so that I can strategically build it up and do it the way it's supposed to be done so that it's successful. Because it's all about the experience and making sure that you are building a legacy for not only, for you and your constituents or people that's coming. I'm saying constituents because I work with people in that space, but I'm just saying you have to make sure that you're pulling everything together when you're doing it. So in the marketing space, make sure you know what you're marketing, you know the brand, you know what you're doing, so that you can effectively and successfully build it up for your client. I hope I
didn't that's you. Yeah, now, are you following her? Did you hit like? Did you hit subscribe? Did you hit the notification bell? You need to be saying something in the comments and tell her that it's fire. Tell her that it's fire. That is Jim. She is throwing it down. She is giving us all the goodies. She's giving us all the goodies, because even if it's not for you, it could be somebody that's in your space. And then sometimes we have people and we have friends, and we're able to then say, hey, have you checked out this, and this? Hey, I heard that over there. These are some things that we need to know. You really do need to know, because depending on what business you're in, if nothing else, you haven't heard anything. It's about relationship. It's about connection. It's about knowing people who know people. Let's just be real. You need to know people who know people, but then we need to make sure that we're a person of value as well, because we want to make sure that when people hear about us, our names are being mentioned in rooms in good ways that that precedes us before we ever even get in the space. And I'm grateful for that. When you have people that know what you bring to a group. Yes, say it.
I want to just say this before we end, and this is the true experience. I'm bringing those high level women together, those C-suite women, people that were, that already, you didn't broke the ceiling. You're already the top of the level. You didn't broke the ceiling. We got it. This is something what we're going to talk about. We have the influence, but what impact are we making within our community, within our businesses, right? So planning this, putting it together, and then the day before, the venue had an issue, and I had to pivot. I had 24 hours to get over 100 women to another space. Let me tell you, first thing I did was, okay, Lord, now you already knew this was going to happen. So you told me you ain't going to leave me nor forsake me. You're going to supply all my needs. Tell me what I need to do. When I got that call at 2:00 and I said, oh my God, and this event is happening the next day at 6:00, what am I going to do? I picked up, it was like the Holy Spirit just sent me to one person. And I picked up the phone and I dialed that person, and they answered, and it just went from there, and they answered the call, and all they said was, can you start an hour later instead of 6? Can you start at 7? I said yes. They said, all right, we got it, we can do it. Somebody from my team is going to call you. That's relationship, but it's also having a good reputation, because people ain't going to touch nobody that don't got it together. So stop falsifying stuff. Stop going out of here trying to say you're this, that, and you're not. You better, I'm telling you, your brand will speak for you. And one thing I'm not going to do is let you mess my brand up. So that is so important, that relationship and having a good reputation. And I was able to pivot over 100 women in 24 hours. So the women were in the building. It was great. It was amazing. All I could do was just thank God, but I thank them most wholeheartedly.
Very important.
Oh, okay.
Even if somebody was coming there as a guest, what you just said, because it will happen. Anything could happen to the keynote, anything, a delay. And then you can say, because you believe, if they're saying that they're ready, that's to you. If you're looking and listening, we're supposed to, just like if we was at church, you're supposed to always have a scripture and a prayer and have a song on your heart. You need to always have something that you can then pull from. Whether it's, I always say, whatever your signature thing is, be able to move that down to 30 minutes, move it down to 15 minutes, and even if possible, have it where you can trim it down into 5 minutes, or something that you know that you are known for, that you can actually speak on in 5 minutes, but you already know that you can stretch that baby out to be an hour or more longer. We need to already have that in our hip pocket, because we never know when God may make space for our opportunity. And it can happen in the least opportune time, when you say for such as the time as this. So if you haven't caught anything else from this, make sure you know and you already have it ready. Be found ready.
That's right. Stay ready. Stay ready. You have to get ready. Stay ready. All right. And that window of opportunity might be that day. You know, it might be that time. So you don't get ready. Stay ready. You're right. So that's something. And I know you asked me about a challenge. I had a challenge. And I know we got to get ready to go, but I had a challenge with a young lady last year with something, and I was volunteering. I still volunteer. I was volunteering my time and my services, because I'm all about giving back, right? So I was volunteering my service, but the snappiness and the way the person was talking and acting was very. It was like they were. I guess they were kind of intimidated. But you don't have to be that way. I'm good. I'm here. But they were a little intimidated, and one of the ladies pulled me aside and said, Dr. Kim, I don't know if that was me. I said, let me explain something to you, young lady. My brand is bigger than this. I said, if I go into a back and forth with this young lady, that's all you're going to hear about and see. No, I have to know how to bow down gracefully. All right. Sit back. Do what I came to do. Serve like I was supposed to. Okay. Because that's what I came to do, and keep it on. But so I said, I'll bow down gracefully and move on. And I didn't. I said, because and she was like, "Oh, Miss Kim, that's." I said, my brand is bigger than. I gotta look at everything, baby, because I don't need to be looked at. Oh, she out there chatting back and forth with this person. They was arguing, and I ain't got time for that. You better get out of here. I'm a professional.
I'm a lady. Yes, we don't. No. I never did mind the little things. I love it. I love it.
We need to have a side conversation. We can do that, but I'm not getting ready to go back and forth. So I just let them act out and do their thing, and I continued on to do my thing. And when it was over, I left, and that was it.
And that was that. Right. I love it. This has been really, really good.
Thank you so much.
You gave a lot. And I know our viewers are appreciating this information. Make sure you are connecting with Dr. Kim. Like I said, she's all over social media, but mainly if you know that you may want to use her services, because her information will be down below. So check down below for information. And you may want to use her service, especially if you're in the Atlanta area. This lady is all over the place, but especially like if you're over here in these streets, she's doing it, and her reputation, like she said, her brand is on some of everything, some of everywhere, and she shows up. And I appreciate you. I want to thank you. Look, publicly, you already know we chat on the back end, but publicly, thank you for pausing for the call from your busy schedule. Because this lady have a packed schedule, for stopping by the C-suite, because it takes people like you to be okay to even have conversation, because sometimes people don't know. So now I try to remove the excuse of saying, I wish I knew. No, now we're bringing quality people that are doing the job, not just making it up, like you said, falsifying information and documentation and things like that. No, people that have lived the work, who are doing the work, and who can help people get a little bit further.
Everything.
Yeah, no, this is amazing. I want to thank y'all for joining me for this episode of C-Suite, a CEO Chat. Dr. Kim is amazing. Make sure you are following her on all social media platforms, especially over there in those LinkedIn streets. If you're over there in LinkedIn, let us know that you enjoy what we bring right here. Hit that notification bell. It's free, y'all. It's free. Hit that notification bell, like, subscribe, leave me a comment. Let me know if you have somebody or yourself that's of value and you would like to have your chance at a seat in the C-suite. I appreciate you and all that you do. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of C-Suite, a CEO Chat. Bye for now. This episode is brought to you by Kennedy Media and Entertainment, your premier video productions and digital visibility partner. Working with business owners just like you to be seen, heard, and paid by elevating your brand with high-impact video content, online visibility strategies, and expert social media management. Ready to stand out in your industry, on and off camera? Contact Kennedy Media today, and let's turn your message into a movement, because visibility isn't optional, it's essential. Contact KennedyMediaLLC.com, KennedyMediaLLC.com, and let's boost your brand's visibility. It's time for you to be seen, heard, and known for your expertise. Contact us today.